Okay, so as a lot of people suggested really correctly, so functions, as Suraj told us, function is a packet, and then somebody told us function is a set block of code, then it calls or it executes when we call it. So like that, whoever gave their views about function, they are absolutely right. So function is nothing but a block of codes which is reusable. Okay, so which will help us to not to duplicate the code. If suppose you want to perform some action um, at a certain point, and suppose you have to perform the same action after some time. Okay, so during the execution of code. Okay, so for that you don't need to write it again. Okay, so you just need to call that function, and the same thing whatever it was happening earlier will happen again. Okay, so the set of blocks, set of statements will again execute whenever you call them. Now today we are going to learn how to do that. Means with this, there will be function will open us lot more possibilities. Okay, so today we are going to learn functions in Python. Then we are going to have some examples which will clear the concepts of our function. Then this is the most important concept of today's session. So you need to know what is variable scope. Okay, so we are going to see that variable scope. So the computer people already know about it. So variable scope is global scope and local scope, and then we are going to see function arguments. Okay, so function arguments, we are going to work on that, and then we are going to see the types, different type, what are different types of arguments are there in Python. Okay, so the same will not be there in other languages. Python has that different set of arguments, so that we are going to see today. Okay, so with that, shall I move forward? So are you excited to learn these functions? This is going to add a more advanced thing into your profile. This is going to help you to do a lot of cool things. Okay, so with this, I'm going to give you a few things to work on after this thing. So I just wanted to know, are you guys ready to take more knowledge about Python? Yeah, perfect, perfect. Absolutely right. Good. So, are you able to see my screen right now? What you're seeing? Yes, I guess you're seeing my. Yeah, perfect. So here we go. So functions will open up, as I already told you, will open up a lot of possibilities. Function is a block of organized and reusable code. Okay, so this is the way you should write a function. Okay? In order to use a function, you first need to define it, right? So once you define it, then only you can use it. Okay, so you need to define that function first, and then you can use that function. So how to define that function? So this is the syntax of it. So you have to use this def keyword. So this is keyword that we'll use. Then you have to give the name of the function. Then there will be parenthesis, and that function name, and the first line end with a colon. And the next things, whatever you want that function to do, all the set of codes, all the blocks, or as Suraj told us, it's all the packets you're going to add inside that. Okay, this is the big packet, and inside that there will be certain things. Those are the statements. You will write number of statement inside that function, which we can reuse again. So what you have to do is you need to just call that function. So calling is different thing. Right now I'm just telling you how to define that function. Okay, so whatever you are seeing on the screen right now, this is function definition. Okay, and this return statement will help us to exit the function. Will always, if you do not return anything, or you do not use the return statement, this function will not give you anything. Okay, so it will, as Suraj was asking 2 3 days ago, so if you do not return, this function will give you none. Okay, will not give you anything, the empty value. Okay, so with this, let's go and let's do some hands-on on this to understand what exactly those functions are, and uh, how to return some things from the function. So as I shown on the first slide itself, there will be two examples which I'm going to take in order to help you to understand what exactly the functions are and how to use those functions in Python. Okay. So let me just share my PyCharm with you. Where are you? Yep. And here we go. Share. So are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see the PyCharm? Okay, I guess yes. So somehow today I don't know what is happening, but my screen and the chat box is not in a sync. Once I click over here, it is going away. Okay, fine. Okay, so as I told you, this is the way to define that function def. Then the function name will be add, since I'm doing the addition program. And here you will open a curly brace, not curly brace, you will open a parenthesis. And after that parenthesis, you are supposed to give a colon. Okay. Now inside that parenthesis, there are few things called as parameters that you are going to add. Okay, so those are the function parameters, and there we are going to pass the arguments to this function. Okay, so let's go and check. Let's give two parameters because I wanted to do addition of two numbers. Suppose so, my first number will be a, first parameter will be a, and second parameter will be b. So I'm going to take those parameters, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do addition of this thing. So a plus b. Okay, so this is the function definition which I just wrote. Okay, but as I told you, I haven't used any return statement over here. Okay, so what it will do, so it will not print. Suppose, so this is the just function definition. Whatever I did in the first two lines, I just defined a function. Okay, so if I run this code, it will not do anything. It will not print anything because I haven't called that function. Even if I, yeah, if you see, we haven't called anything. If I go and write a print statement over here, so it will just print this statement. It will go and execute this thing. It will not touch this thing, this first two lines, because we haven't called that function. So I write learning functions over here. So if I do like that, so only this line will get printed. It is not going to do anything with these lines of code because we haven't called. This is just definition of function here. Now, in order to call the function, what you have to do is you just have to write that function name, and by passing the arguments. Okay, so this is the function. This is the way you have to call the function. Okay, so what I'm doing is a, no, not a. So these are the now here are few things which I'm going to explain in next few slides. I just unmuted. Let me check. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is the definition of function, and I'm going to give two arguments. Suppose 10, comma 20. So these are the two arguments which I passed. And now if I run, okay, it will not do anything because I need to print the print this thing. Whatever function is going to return, I need to check it in the output. So again, since so what how now be with me, I'll just help you to how debugger, how our interpreter will execute the code. Okay, so it will skip this line because it is just definition. It will not go and check what is inside this add function because it is just a definition. With this def keyword, it knows that this is a definition of function. It will not go inside that function. Okay, then our control will come to the line number 4. Then this line will execute, we'll see on a console learning function. Then the control will come to the next print statement. Here the interpreter will find that add function is called with the two parameters. Okay, then this add will call, and the control will again go towards the line number 1, and here I'm just printing a print statement just for the understanding whether it is going inside this function or not. Okay, so inside function. Okay, now since I'm just doing addition and nothing else, so it will not return, or whatever print statement over here will not print anything because I'm not returning. Let me just give you the importance of that return statement which we just saw. So I'm running this code. Yeah, see, it printed none. So Suraj, the way you were asking, so since I haven't written anything, that's why this add 10 dot is executed. I haven't written, nothing is written, it means none. and when I'm printing that thing, I'm getting none on the screen. Is that clear? So I hope right now your concept of that none might have cleared with this. Can't connect at time because of net. Okay, fine. Abhinandan, you can rewatch the recordings. Okay, so but I don't want to see that none on my screen. I want to see the addition of the number which I'm passing. Okay, so I'm just using the right approach to write a function. Okay, so I gave a return statement. Now what this will do, again the control will come over here, and when it will check that function is function we are calling a function, then call will go over here. This statement will get printed, then this addition will be done, this expression will execute, and then whatever value comes over here will return to this print statement, and print statement will print that value. Let's check whether it is working as expected or not. Yeah, so if you see, so I got my output what I was expecting. So this is the way, this is a simple example how you can define a function and how you can call that function. Okay, so if you don't want to do like this, so what exact if you don't want to print the function directly, what you can do is you can assign that value whatever you are getting to another variable. Suppose add is my new variable which will give me the addition of this function. Again, this is the variable and this is the function. Okay, so it will work. So I'm going to print add. See, I got my output. So what I just did, I am just whatever this function is returning me, I'm just assigning that value to this new variable, and I'm printing that new variable. That's it. So this is all about doing the addition. So with this you can do all the other thing. You can do multiplication, you can do division, and all the things. So now here is your task. So now, we learned at the time of learning, what was the point where we learned all the operators. Okay, so when we learned operators, I told you to do the program of calculator, right? But that time you are not enough mature to do the program, because in order to execute that, you need to do a lot of things. You need to execute loop, you need to ask user what operation you want, right? So I haven't taught you loops, I haven't taught you conditions. If user is asking for multiplication, then do this. User is asking for division, then do this. So that are things I haven't taught you. So that's why I haven't focused much that time on that assignment. But right now, so your today's task is, so what you have to do is you have to use function, then you have to use loops, then you have to use conditional statement like if and else, and then you have to use operators, all operators that we learned. Okay, and using all those concepts that we learned till now, you have to build a calculator. Okay, so I want to see a very nice and well organized calculator which will ask a user very friendly that what you want to do. Either you want to do the multiplication, division, or whatever you want, and then you will also ask, then give me two numbers for which you want to do the multiplication. And if by mistake user entered text instead of integer, then also you have to show him a appropriate message. And if he does some mistake like giving white spaces after entering number, so you have to work along with that as well. So because we learned how to trim and all those things, right? So you have to use all the skills that you learned till now, and you have to build a very nice calculator that will satisfy all the requirements, all the basic requirements, right? So this is clear. The try and except statement. So exception handling will not be taught in this content, because I have shared this content should be used. Yeah, you can use that thing. No, but again you have to give the yeah. So if by mistake he entered the text, then you have to give the right message. Then you have to catch the exception whatever coming on the screen. Right? You're right, Suraj. But try to see how what else. I just want you to use all the concepts that you learned till now. If you are good with exception handling as well, go ahead and do it. But my expectation from you is use all the things which we learned till now and then build it. So which will help you to clear all the concepts. Okay. So when we are going to cover object oriented programming, that time as well, I'm going to give you the same assignment, but it will be in really different. So that code which you are going to write will be much different than this one. Okay. So just make sure whatever we learned till now, so you have to utilize only that code. That's it, nothing else. Okay. Is it clear? Yeah, so this is all about the first thing, the addition and operation. So the next thing which what I'm going to do is we are going to see how else. So this is just some simple example we saw. So if I want to reverse the string, okay. So for that, or string, or you can reverse a list as well. We'll see the both example, okay. So again, in order to reverse string, I just need to ask user, enter your string, right? So this time I'm going to take a good whole example. I'm going to take an input from user, input, enter a string. So user will enter a string and you have to reverse this string. But in order to reverse that string, so see this example will, so all those who are into final year who will go and prepare for the interviews and all, in technical questions, this question will be always there. Find out prime numbers, find out Fibonacci series, find out reverse of the given string and all those. So there are list of things which I'll share at the end of this course. So those who are only looking for the looking for jobs and all that stuff. So I'll be sharing few things, few secrets which I share with my other students. So just try to complete all the assignments whatever I'm giving you, so that will help you. See, you will learn from different sources, but until unless you will not implement by yourself, you will not learn it deeply, okay, or you will forget after a certain point of time. Okay, so I would request to practice more as you can. So and so the hacker rank is the one of the good platform which even I was using in my college time. So it's good. So so a lot of people, one of my friend got recruited because of his hacker rank score. So he was doing in Java actually, not in Python, but because of the code and the rank, his rank was really high on hacker rank. So he got recruited in one of the big company. I guess he Oracle hired him. So just because he was doing consistently coding on that hacker rank, okay. So it helps actually because people are seeing your skills. Hacker rank challenge is not easy, okay. So that's why I recommend go ahead and practice if you want to learn more. Okay, so let's come back again on this particular topic and let's go and try and let's write a function that will help us to reverse the given string. Now, in order to reverse string, I'll again write a function def. So this will be my function name, reverse, and here I'm going to just pass the string. Okay, now this, what I need to do is, so can anybody tell me how to reverse the string? What you are supposed to do? If you want to reverse string, what you need to do? Yes, anybody? Yes, string. You forget the last bracket. Fine. So S is my string, and here I'm going to open the brackets, and this colon and -1. So this will give me a reverse of the string, but I need to return, right? So until unless I do not return from here, sorry, it will not give me anything. Okay, so this is just an argument which I'm passing it over here. Okay, so what I am supposed to do is I actually taking this input from here. So instead of doing this, instead of asking user, I can directly pass that parameter while calling the function. Okay, so suppose reverse. There is one more thing which I wanted to show you. So this is the string. Suppose I am entering. Suppose it's Python. Okay, and this is this will call my function, and the return statement will give me the reverse of the string, and I will be able to print. I haven't printed over here, so rev is equal to, and this is my reverse print string, and I'm going to print my new variable reb. Okay, so I'm just running the code. See, so it is the reverse of Python. And if you notice why I commented this line, because I was passing the string whatever user is entering directly over here. Okay, so it will not work because I was not calling. I was not calling this particular function. And if you do like this, if instead of doing the instead of calling the function at the downstairs or on the next line, if you do like this, see, I just wanted to remove it from here, and if I wanted to paste it over here, sorry, if I do like this, will it work? See, it is showing error itself directly because Python follows which approach, bottom up or top down? Yes, those who are from computer background, I would be expecting the question answer from your side. So which approach Python follows? So it is just like C. Slicing can be used to reverse. Yes, we are using. So this is nothing but a slicing. Colon colon is slicing. Yes, top to bottom. No, it follows bottom up approach, Abhinandan. So it will go and see. So top down means it is executing each and every line from up to down, right? So but so by the convention, the way you mentioned top to bottom. So sorry, even I got confused. Forget about the top to bottom or bottom top. Right now, just try to focus on this thing. I'll clear this thing again. So if you call a function before declaring it, it will not get called because Python code doesn't know where this function is. Okay, so it is trying to see whether it is defined earlier lines of code. So it is not there, hence it is showing error. So whenever you want to use any function, whenever you want to call any function, you need to have that function definition on previous lines. Then only you can call this particular thing. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to instead of this string, I'm just going to pass the string which I just got from here. So I'm going to ask user is going to give me input. So since this is definition of the function, it is not going to go inside this function. It will go, control will come on this particular line. This reverse will pass my user input string to this, and then this will return, and I'll just get the output. Okay, so I'm just running the code, and code will wait for me to type my string. So I'm typing my name Akshay, and I hit enter, and I got the reverse of the string. So this is it. These are three things which I just wanted to demonstrate you by how you can declare and define function. That's it. So declaring the functions and definition of functions are the two most important thing that you need to know in order to use functions. Okay, so this is you can say this is the first step of the function. Now we are going to move forward. Okay, so let me share my PPT again. So are you able to see my presentation? Yeah, just give me yes if you are able to see my presentation. Anybody? No, fine, thank you. I was not, that's why I asked. Okay, so this is the next thing which you need to know about functions. So since we introduce function into the picture, now the variables will act differently. Okay, so there will be different scopes by which you can access or you can declare the variable. So you can declare variable either global or local. So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by global variables and what do you mean by local variables? Okay, so let's just go and take the look at this thing. Okay, so global variable will be, as name suggests, so those variable will be accessible globally. Okay, variable scope. So what I'm going to do is right now, I just suppose this is my favorite variable A. I have certain value, suppose 100 or 1000, let's say, and this is my variable. Okay, so now which data type category the mathematical operators are put? Data type category the mathematical operators are put. Sorry, Suraj, I didn't got your question. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is my a global variable, okay? But right now this is just a variable. It is not local or it is not global. Until unless I do not introduce a function in the code, the variable will be a normal variable. It is not global, it is not local. But if the time when I introduce a function will introduce by def. Suppose this is my addition function, and here I'm going to do some addition. I don't want any parameter, so I have my own a, okay? So this function will have a, suppose its value is 10, then suppose this function will have b as well, its value is 20. Then here I'm going to do the addition of those things, and this will return a plus b. Oh my god, sorry. Yeah, that's what you have to make sure when you are watching. Just inform me. Okay, so what I just did is I just initialized a variable a is equal to 100. Forget about this again. I'll type it again for you. Okay, so now I have a single variable. So this is just an variable. It is not local variable or it is not global variable. Right now it's a normal variable which doesn't which actually by default when you initialize the variable it is global variable. So wherever you go into this variable scope.py file, so it will be accessible all over. But suppose if I introduce a function, suppose I introduce a function of addition, and in that addition function if I create a new variable with the same name, can I create this a new variable with same name inside other function? Yes, we can. But what will be the value of this a? So if I try to print the a over here, so if I directly print a, it will take a global. It will look for the outer part of the code, outer part of this function, and it will check whether a is there. If a is there, then it will print. But I don't want to do that. I want to have a different value to this a inside this function because I wanted to do specifically addition. Okay, so this is my another variable, and I'm going to return the addition since it's my addition function. Okay, so now it returned my addition. So there is one more function which I have. Suppose definition. I have subtraction function, and here I'm going to do the same thing. Again, I'll have a different a, and this time this a's value will be 50 because I want to do some subtraction, and the first number should be greater in order to get positive output. Okay, so I'm just returning the a minus b. Okay, so now tell me what will be the output when I'll print a over here. Print a. I'm going to do everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to do over here as well, and I'm going to do over here as well. Okay, 1000. Okay, so where? So this is the first, this is second, and this is third. What will be at first place? What will be output of second? What will be the output of third print statement? Yes, tell me. 10, 50, and 1000. Yes, perfect, Abhinandan. It's because right now, let me run the code and let me show the output to rest of the people as well. No, it didn't happen because I haven't called those functions. Okay, so I haven't called. So this is just function definition. My code, yeah, my code didn't enter into this function. Okay, so I need to call it first. Okay, so I'll call add, then I'll call. So this is the you will understand. So that with this my mistake, you might have understood that only declaration or the definition of the function is not enough. You need to call that as well. Okay, only if you call, then only it will execute. Okay, let me run the code. Yeah, so I got 10, 50, and 1000 as Abhinandan says. We got the right output as okay, but why it happened? See, usually if you have a variable already assigned over here and we are reassigning, am I changing the value of this particular a? What do you say? Am I changing the value of this particular a variable over here? No, not at all. I'm not changing. I'm creating a local variable inside this add function. Okay. So this is a new variable. If you print ID of this A and ID of this A, those IDs will be different. Remember we learned on the day one, right? So we were printing IDs and we were checking whether it is mutable or immutable, whether it has changed, right? So right now what is happening is we are creating another variable, another local variable, which will get destroyed whenever you will come out from this out from this function. When you will come out on this line, it will, the A value of A will get destroyed. It will not be there. If you try to print outside, see, this is what we are doing. Ideally, if I'm a dumb person, if I don't know anything about coding, what I'll assume, here value of A is 1000, here value of A is 10, that's why it printed 10. Here value of A is 50, that's why it printed 50. So A is 50, right? But it will remain 50 over here as well. It will not change. But ideally, what is happening is, so this is the global variable. So this is A, we haven't touched to this particular A. Now here inside this add function, I create another variable with the same name. I gave value 100, sorry, I gave value 10. Hence I got the output as 10 over here. This is another function. Here I create another variable with same name and I'm assigning the values of 50 over here, and that's why I got the output 50. Can we use global variable inside a function? Yes, you can, but then you need not to reassign it. See, if I do like this, I'll directly print over here. Okay. So this right now, what will happen? This when control will come to this line, it will search for A locally. If A doesn't doesn't found here, then it will go for global scope and it will check whether use global keyword. Yeah. You need to use global A, right? No, but since it is not there, it will print. Let me check. Yeah, since it is not, nothing is there. See, if I do like this, A is equal to 10. This is my local. Okay. Now, if I want to print global, then I need to use global A. Sorry. Yeah. So if I want to know the value of global, sorry, not like this. No, I'll take another variable. C is equal to global A. Why it is showing error? In front of the variable. That is what I did. Okay. I'm not able to understand what is happening. Yeah, Suraj, help me out with this. Since you introduced in front of the variable, write it like this. Yes. How? Yeah, right. Okay. Global A is equal to 10. No, I don't want to change. I want to use that variable again. Okay, if you are saying I wanted to change the variable, right? Value of variable. No, I was not talking about that. I was just talking about reassigning the value of that variable. Now again, it is showing the error, Suraj. Okay, fine. Let's go and let me give you the basic funda without this global keyword. We'll cover this global keyword in. No, C should be. No, it will not work. Wait. Let's not disturb the rest of the class. Okay, so now what I wanted to do is I'm just printing A over here. Okay, so it doesn't have any value. So if I run this code, so it will it will print 1000 over here, because right now in my add function A is not written. Okay, A is not declared. So it will, since this particular line doesn't found any A into this particular function, it will go outside this function and it will search for global variable if there is any. If it is not here as well, then it will show me error. But since it is there, it is taking the value from here and it is printing that value. And if I do the addition, where I'm doing the addition, print B 120. Okay, I'm not returning. Okay, I'm not printing the addition anywhere. So if I print the addition, print addition of this, so I'll get the addition as 1000 plus 20, right? Yeah, see, I got my addition as 1020. So that's what it is now, and then it will call the second function. Okay, so but now, yeah, so what I want to tell you, I forgot. Sorry. Okay, fine. So this is the one way to declare global and local variable. Now second thing which I wanted to show you, I just wanted to show you by printing the ID of that particular thing. Okay, so print ID of A. So I just wanted to demonstrate whether that A which was there is same as the A which is here. Okay, so just make sure, as I already told you. So this is not the same A. So A over here, see what I'm doing? I'm doing the same thing. ID of A, right? So, but this A will take the value ID of this particular A. Okay, this print statement will print ID of this A, and here you will find that. Let me remove the rest of the print statement. I don't want to print. Okay, I need to print this one, or I need to call at least, because it will not get called. Fine. So I'll just get up two IDs. Yeah, see. So the first line, which is printing first line, I'm printing this. Okay, so ID of A is 12 around. I'm not going to calculate the numbers. Just make sure this number is different than the second thing. What is happening? Subtraction function is getting called. Then it is printing the ID of second number. That is this. Then it is printing the actual value of A. I got 50, and then I'm printing 1000. That means this is the last statement which I'm printing, which is actual value of A. So is it clear? So the A, even if you use the same name of the variable, and if you try to use it inside a function, it is not the same variable as it was there upstairs. Okay, so we are creating another variable with same name. Okay, it doesn't mean the variables are same. It is another variable with same name. That's it. So this value is storing at different place. Okay, so that's what the difference between this local and global variable. So if you want to use same variable within the code for multiple times, so in that case you need to use this funda of creating a global variable as well as creating a local variable. Okay, and that will help you out to do a lot of tasks really very easy. Okay, so this is all about global and local variable. Let's move towards our next concept, which is arguments versus parameter. Now I told you while calling the function, we just saw that we are writing few things inside a function, and then we are passing some values. Okay, so whenever you write a function, whenever you define a function, whatever parameters that you are passing in those curly brackets, sorry, parentheses, round brackets, so those are called as function parameters. Okay, so whatever in front of that function while defining function are called as parameters. Okay, and the function arguments are what we pass to the function. Whenever we call the function, we write some value, we provide some value to that function. Those are called as arguments. Okay, make a note of these two things. You will definitely get confused between parameters and arguments. So even right now, the place where I was working few months ago, so people over there, they even call it parameters is same thing as argument. Those fundamentals are not clear to the people who are already working into the industry. Okay, so I just don't want you to be like that. I just want to have everything clear to you. Okay, so make sure, make a note of this thing, that whatever you pass to the function is a argument, and whatever you give inside this function are called as parameters. Whenever you're defining a function, you give parameters. Whenever you're calling function, you give arguments. Is that clear? Yes, perfect. So, and we can no, so this is just a spelling mistake. We can't change the order of arguments. We can't change. Okay, so suppose this is a subtraction function I'm calling. Okay, so I wanted to subtract bigger number from smaller number, and if I replace this thing, so like a and okay, so this is quite odd example. I just wanted to demonstrate you this thing. So you can't change arguments just like that. Okay, so let me create a new file for this. So until unless I don't demonstrate you, I'll not be able to, or you will not be able to understand this thing. Okay, parameters, I'll make it as parameters. Okay, suppose I created a function, same function I'm going to create, or suppose Let me create a function that will introduce myself. Okay. So again, if you remember the day when we call intro. Okay. So first I'll ask him name, then I'll ask him the age, then I ask him what he likes. Okay. Okay. So these are my, what are these? Yes, I just cleared you. Okay. Sorry. PyCharm is not doing good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Payal. Thanks, Arandani. Okay, so this is just a new function which I created. And here, what are these three things which I just passed to the definition of the function? Those are called as parameters, function parameters. Okay, and whatever you're going to give while calling the values, those are function arguments. Okay, so these are three parameters to my function, and what I'm going to print is, now I'm going to create again intro of him, meet this, he is value years old, likes or she likes. So I'm going to take my example, that's why I'm x, and that's why I took he over there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to print, and I just wanted to call the same function. Okay, and I'm going to give the parameters. Sorry, I'm going to pass the argument. So my name is Akshay, and then this will be 25, and this will be IoT. Okay, so I just forgot to give parameters. Forgot to format the string. Here will be name, comma, age, comma, like. Okay, like is a keyword. I can't use that. Let me make it likes. Okay, like is a keyword. So if I run this code, I'll get my string printed. Meet Akshay, he is 25 years old. He like IoT. Okay. So what I just talked about. So you can change the order of the argument. Suppose if I do like this, suppose I replace this 25 and if I put it over here, okay. So this will make whole code messy. And if I run this, see, mid 25, he is Akshay years old. Okay, so this messed up my code. So you can't change the order of arguments directly. Okay, so now your fundas are clear. So these are, whenever you're calling a function, whatever you're passing are called arguments, and when you're defining the function, whatever you are giving inside those brackets are called as parameters. So make sure you are clear with that. Then only you will be able to understand what is I'm going to tell you next. Okay, so the next thing is, that's what I told you over here in the presentation, that we can't change the order of arguments. We just saw we can't change. If you change the order, our function will not behave. But suppose initially or while calling the function, you don't know what is the order, or you don't want to depend on the order. So for that, there are few ways by which you can skip that order. You don't need to worry about those order and all. Okay, for that there are few types of few types of arguments that you need to know, and here are those. Okay, so for the first type of argument, function argument is our required arguments, so those are necessary. Then we have default arguments, and then we have keyword arguments. So right now I was talking about the keyword arguments. Okay, what you can do is, so I'll explain you first two arguments later on. Let me just take you to, can you repeat again? Yes, sure. So what I just shown you, you can't change the order of arguments. If you change, we just saw our code was not giving the output as expected. Okay, it was not printing the right string. Okay, so but there will be cases, there will be scenarios when you don't want to restrict yourself to a specific order. Okay, so if suppose you have to pass suppose 10 things about that user. Okay, so every time you will not go and check in the function what is the first parameter, what is the second parameter, what is the third parameter, and accordingly you will not pass the arguments. Okay, so instead of doing that, so if you use keyword arguments, like I'll show you the example. If you use keyword arguments, so you don't need to worry about what is the order of parameters over there in the function. Okay, so let me just quickly show you from the example. See here, in this example, the order of the parameters is, first is name, second is age, third is likes. Okay, so if while passing the arguments, if I change the order, so we just saw our output was totally messy. It was not giving a right idea about what is happening. Okay, so if you, I don't want to do that, I don't want to worry about this thing. So what I can do is, I'll simply use keyword argument. It means I'm going to pass keyword of the parameter over there in my argument. So my age is equal to 25, then my name is equal to Akshay, and likes is equal to IoT. So this will indicates whenever this function will get called. Now whatever value of age over here will go and assign this value to the second position. Even though I pass this argument on the first place, in case of parameters, it will go and take the second place. Let me just give you a demonstration by running this code. See, I got my right output, even though my order is not right, even though my order is different than the parameters order, still I got the right output because I used another way of giving the arguments. Okay, I used the third type, which I just show you, that is keyword arguments. So we just saw the keyword arguments. Now what is default arguments and what are required arguments? Okay, so required arguments are basically really very simple. So if you have two parameters passed over there, you have to give two arguments. So that is by default. So those two arguments will always be there. If you have one, so I'll just quickly demonstrate what is the use of this required arguments as well. Okay, let me create a new file for that, arguments. Okay, I guess you will not be able to see my screen, right? Can you, how can you make parameter optional? Okay, I'll just show you, wait. I'll show you, wait, arguments. Okay, suppose I have a function. I'm going to take the basic function again that we just saw. That is my intro. Okay, so and here in intro, I'm going to take name, I'm going to take age, I'm going to take likes. Okay, so this is my function, and I'm just going to print a statement using this, like, okay, let me copy, let's not waste time. Let me copy the statement from here. Okay, so what we just saw, we are going to do it like this. Okay, but suppose if while calling the function, if I gave only two arguments, suppose I gave my name, only my name, okay, then 25. Can anyone tell me what is going to happen right now? Let me run the code. See, Akshay and 25. Okay, I just printed, I didn't call, sorry. My bad. See, I'm just giving two parameters and calling this function. See, it gave me an error. Okay, you know why? Because there are three parameters over here, and you are passing only two parameters. So it might, yeah, missing one required positional argument, likes. So I haven't passed. So this is the required arguments, means whatever number of parameters there, you have to pass those parameters. Okay, now as Suraj asked, what is, how to make parameter optional? By giving it by declaring a default parameter. So the second type which we saw, so we saw three different types: default argument, parameter argument, sorry, default required argument, default argument, and keyword argument. Okay, so this is the default argument. If you have three different parameters over there, you have to pass three arguments. You don't have any other choice. You have to pass it over here. Okay, so if I pass right appropriately, I'll get a right output. If I do not, I'll get an error. But if I don't want to do that, okay, so suppose whoever here, I'm going to change the name later on Suppose we'll take the example of people who are here in our chat box. So suppose all of us are learning Python, and suppose I know the likes of everybody will be Python. Okay, so I'm going to give a default. This is my default argument. Okay, so this likes will be always Python. Okay, so if I skip, so even though there are three parameters over here, and if I pass only two, this code, yeah, this code work. It's because I use a default parameter, default argument. So by default, even if I do not pass anything over here, it will by default consider as likes as Python, because I have mentioned over here. Because I know right now if I change the name to Suraj, Suraj, tell me your age. Okay, Suraj is gone. Okay, let's assume 22. Is it 21? Okay, taking 21. Fine. Okay, if I run this code, I'm going to get the next output for Suraj, and meet Suraj is 21 years old and he likes Python. Okay. So this itself suffice that if you know certain things for sure, if you know certain thing that is not going to change, or in certain cases if you want to see, suppose out of 100, in 50 cases it will be Python, but in rest of the 50 cases it will be something else where you will pass parameter. Okay, so in that case, so I'll just quickly demonstrate you. So if in next case, if suppose next is a person, another person, just type in yes or anything so that I can take your name over here. Okay, you missed it, Suraj. I guess you were not there. Manoj. Okay, I got Manoj's name in the chat box. And here, what he is, we are not declared any parameter, but declared arguments. What will happen? No, it will not execute again. So you have to match the number of parameters. That's what I told you. You have to give those parameters which are asked as an input. Okay, which are there in a sorry. You have to pass those arguments, those number of arguments which are asked in a parameters. Okay, but right now we just saw, since I declared a default parameter that is Python, but we came to Manoj, and Manoj, just tell me your age and tell me what you like, so that I can type it over here. Okay, so whenever I ask question, I don't know, chocolate. Okay, yes. What is your age then? Can I take anything? 22, perfect. So suppose, see, now I know 50% of the people in this group likes Python, but Manoj is different one and he likes chocolate. Okay. So since I passed a default parameter, by default, if I do not pass anything, by default value will be Python. But if I pass, it means this will come under different category and it will execute the code. So if you check, so it took this parameter which I just passed. Okay. So this argument which I pass and not the Python. Okay, what if we pass more argument? No, it will not work, man. It will say, it will not consider, actually it will work, but it will not consider it as anything, because it doesn't make any sense. It requires, my code, my function was asking for only three parameters. They got the first three parameters. It will not check for this last one. No. Argument, no, it is not running. So it works in I guess Java, but it is not working over here. So you have to, so the statement which I made earlier, so you have to match the number of arguments. So if there are if there is one argument, there is one parameter in the function, you have to pass one argument. If there are four parameters mentioned, so right now here we mentioned three parameters, so you have to pass three arguments. You don't have any choice. But here is an exception where we learn the default argument. So when you do not pass anything, by default it will take Python. Set number of parameters to infinity. I haven't tried, Suraj. Extremely sorry, but I haven't tried doing that. I just because I have to complete the task or whatever I have within certain time of period of time. So I only focus on output. Yeah, it is in JavaScript. Yes, exactly. In JavaScript, if you you can pass parameter or you do not pass argument, it will work. It should work in Python. No, it should be there in Python. So no, it is not there right now. I'm not seeing, and I haven't personally tried. I did it in JavaScript when I was working on Angular JS. So it was long back. So that time it was working. Okay, fine. So with this, I guess you guys are much clear about these three different types of parameters. So let me again share the screen. So required parameters are, you have to pass the number of parameters that you have assigned. Then there are default parameters where you can skip a parameter, but then you have to mention the default value. What will be the default value in the you can skip the argument, then you have to define the parameter, default value of the parameter. And then we have keyword arguments wherein you can alter the sequence. So whatever sequence you want, you can give, but you need to mention the keyword, for which keyword what is the value, for which keyword what is the value. Okay, so this is all about function and function arguments. So what are the few key points from today's session? You need to know about function definition and function calling. Then you need to know about local variable and global variable, what is the difference between them. And then you need to about what are different. So okay, so before that you need to know about what is argument and what is parameter. Okay, so that is the most important thing. You might forget this thing, what is the argument. Even sometimes I get confused about arguments and parameters, but you need to have a good command on that. It is not the same thing. Mostly people assume arguments and parameters are same thing, but it is not. We just saw. And then we have different types of arguments. Okay, so there is one more type actually wherein you can pass multiple parameters. Okay, so it comes with the asterisk mark, so that is what you have to search and you have to come to me. Okay, so this is all about today's session. This is all I wanted to share about functions.